you think you know what you're about to do because you can't do this. Oh, man, I can't get that line right. I don't even know what Sonic's saying in that scene. Hey everyone, this is Rob as well at Animation Bliss, and welcome to another Anime Corner. So today's anime I'll be talking about today is Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. No, not the live action movie that just came out this year, but the movie that came out in Japan in 1996. And before I get into this, here are a few words from the channel. Hey guys, if you want to check out more content from this channel, then tune in every Sunday and Monday for new videos. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that must mean there was a bit of animated news that we wanted to talk about. So those would be considered special videos. And if you want to chat with us on social media or see when new videos are being released, then follow us through Twitter and Facebook. And also, please feel free to join our new Facebook group, Chat with Animation Bliss, where we talk about animation with other animation fans. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So Sonic the Hedgehog the movie was a movie that was made in Japan in 1996, and it stars Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was released in America in 1999, and it's about Sonic and Tails receiving a distress call saying that the president has been kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik, and so Sonic and Tails decide to go to rescue the president and his daughter Sarah, but then they find out that Dr. Robotnik actually was asking for Sonic and Tails' help since somebody at Dr. Robotnik's base had kicked him out, and it turns out to be Metal Robotnik. So Dr. Robotnik asks Sonic and Tails to go and stop Metal Robotnik from exploding the generator before it destroys the world. So once Sonic and Tails defeat Metal Robotnik, they discover that Dr. Robotnik actually has more sinister plans as he decides to build Metal Sonic, and it turns out that Metal Sonic is on his way to destroying the world, so Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have to stop Metal Sonic from destroying the world. So Sonic the Hedgehog the movie was a really odd movie for me. Like, it was one of those movies I heard a lot about when I was little, and I heard a lot of interesting things about the movie. Like, it had a lot of sex jokes and it had a lot of strong language, and I was like, really? Sex jokes and strong language in a Sonic the Hedgehog property? So I was like, well, let me go ahead and check this out and see what it's all about. So I actually went and watched the movie, and it was very odd. Like, they portray certain characters in different ways. The universe they set up the Sonic the Hedgehog characters in was very different from what I was used to. And the fact that they added in Metal Sonic was really interesting to me too. So let's talk about the things that I did like about this movie. So one thing I really liked about this movie was the animation itself. Like, I like how they did all the fighting sequences, especially between Metal Robotnik and Metal Sonic with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And I thought those scenes were very well animated. I especially loved the battle sequence with Metal Robotnik when Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are fighting Metal Robotnik in the rain, and you get to see the animation done with the rain. And I thought it was very beautiful to look at. And I especially love the fight sequences between Metal Sonic and Sonic because it looks so detailed, and I love how menacing Metal Sonic looked throughout the fight, and the fact that he was beating up Sonic so relentlessly throughout the fights made me really feel for Sonic during those scenes. And then I thought it was really interesting that this particular movie was sort of based off a Sonic CD. Now, I haven't really played much of Sonic CD when it first came out, but I could tell that it was inspired by Sonic CD because it had some of the same animations that Sonic CD had, and I thought that was really interesting to see in this movie. And then some of the characters that I did like were Knuckles, Dr. Robotnik, and Metal Sonic. I really like how they portrayed Knuckles in this movie as they made him more friendlier than he was in the video games. And it was really interesting that he's a treasure hunter in this game instead of the guardian of the Master Emerald like he usually is in the games. And then I like how they portrayed Dr. Robotnik in this movie as they made him very hilarious but very threatening at the same time, especially when you find out that he built Metal Sonic, who was able to beat up Sonic, and then he has these funny conversations with the president and Sarah. So I love how they were able to balance his menacing nature with his humorous nature at the same time. But I think the best character in this film was none other than Metal Sonic himself. I think he was a really great addition to this movie, and it's rare that we see Metal Sonic in any animated form. So seeing Metal Sonic in this movie really made me excited, and I just love all the scenes with him in it, especially when they turn into intense scenes because he's like such an intense character in this movie, and I really enjoy seeing that. Now, some things that I didn't like about the movie, and that was some of the characters and how the plot seemed to be too thin. Like, I felt like they didn't really explain that much about the characters' backstories, and I wish they did, so I get a better understanding of these characters. And then I didn't like some of the characters in this movie. Like, I felt like Sonic was more of a jerk in this movie than he was in any other interpretation. And there was this one scene in the movie where he told Tails to shut up, and I was like, really? That's not the Sonic the Hedgehog that I know and love. So yeah, I was a little shocked by that scene. And then I didn't care much for Sarah or the president. I felt like they didn't really bring anything to the plotline other than being kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik. And then there's all these sex jokes around Sarah. And I was like, really? Is that why she's here for the sex jokes? So yeah, I didn't care for Sarah that much. And then I was a bit surprised by some of the sex jokes that were in this particular anime. Like, they mostly revolve around Sarah, like how Dr. Robotnik wants to marry Sarah and stuff like that. And there was this one scene with Tails accidentally grabs onto Sarah's breast, and I was like, really? In a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? So those were kind of awkward scenes, I would have to say the least. So overall, Sonic the Hedgehog the movie was a pretty decent adaptation of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's probably the most faithful to the video games than any other adaptation I have ever seen. But yeah, this movie does suffer a bit from a thin plot and not having a lot of likable characters. That almost dropped the movie down for me. But overall, it was a very interesting movie, and if you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, you'll probably enjoy this movie. So that's my review on Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. And tell me in the comments down below, have you seen Sonic the Hedgehog the movie? And if you have, did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Have you seen the new live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie this year? Please feel free to comment down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit Explore Animation Bliss, and I'll see you guys later.